So I kind of do these videos here in the morning. I'm walking in the morning, so it's kind of maybe a little bit bumpy, okay? But we do the lives here on YouTube. We do it over at TikTok for a little while, and then we bounce over here onto YouTube and do a live for you here on YouTube. And then we basically talk about the tax sales, okay? And I mention people very much. What are tax sales? Tax sales are, again, people who don't pay their property taxes. These are people who don't pay their property taxes. And then you, as a consumer, you have the right to what? Buy the tax lien auction, tax deed auction, or tax redeemable deed auction, okay? We have to have knowledge. We have to know, is the state a lien auction? Is the state a deed auction? Is the state a redeemable tax deed auction? What is the state? And we have to know these rules and guidelines. Very important, we have to know that, okay? Very important. So, good morning, everybody. We welcome you, and we're in the education part. And these are people who didn't pay their property taxes. You know, if you walk around, you see here, you see some houses here. I'll stand here. You see here. These are houses here. Now, these, I'm not saying these people are delinquent on property taxes at all, okay? But what you're doing is that you are basically saying, okay, people who own a house, they have land. You have people, the fire department, police department, ambulance, libraries. Libraries are a big one. People don't realize how much money is spent from your property taxes on libraries. You always go into a library and say, how the hell did they stay in business? I'll tell you that. It's because of your property taxes. That's why those property taxes are paid by you. And it's like, you know, the public sector, which are elected officials, as well as people on payroll, they are the public sector. And then there, what happens? The private sector pays for that. Private sector pays for the public sector. It's good or bad. Why do you think you drive around and you see, you know, these police cars say exempt on their license plates? That means they're not paying any registration fees at all, okay, for cars. You go to your city halls or all these buildings that are the government's. Well, they're not paying property taxes. They're exempt, okay? But that's a different issue. We're not going to get into that, okay? We're going to give you education. We're going to give you knowledge, okay? We're going to talk about the state of Alabama today. State of Alabama this morning. And we welcome a couple people here. If you got questions, put in chat. Try to answer your question as we're walking. So we walk every morning, you know, get out here, do the live. We did a live over at TikTok. We did a 1-minute short video over at TikTok. And now we're doing our live here, okay? So Alabama is a tax, what? Lien auction state, lien auction. Remember, there's only 3 of them, lien, deed, or redeemable deed. Number one, we're gonna know where's state located, Alabama. Well, Alabama's close to the Mississippi area, okay? They're not close to California, so we gotta know the state. State's close to what? Mississippi. And in the state of Alabama, it's a tax lien auction state. And a tax lien auction state is we're going to be a lien holder on the property. A lien holder on the property. That means you're not going to own the property right now. You may own it later, but the county is basically coming to you guys and saying, hey guys, if you lend your money to us, okay, we'll put you on as a lien holder on the property. And if the person doesn't pay, we'll allow you to foreclose on the property. But if they do pay, you're gonna have to get your money back plus interest. How much better is that? Okay? It's a great opportunity for you guys to do the tax sales. Tax lien, deed, or redeemable deed. So in Alabama, what are we doing? We're buying the lien. We're buying the lien. So Alabama, most of their auctions are going to be online. Some might be still in person, but majority of them are online there, okay, in the state of Alabama. And it's a bid down interest rate. That means that what? Whoever will pay the lowest interest rate will control the lien in Alabama. So if the interest rate, it's between 8 and 12%. Okay, check with the county on that. Suppose they pay you a 12% annual interest rate. Whoever accepts the lowest interest rate at the auction will control the lien. Whoever pays the lowest interest rate will control the lien. Think about it. So if you're willing to accept a 3 or 4% interest rate and nobody else bids any lower than you, well, you'll control the lien, but you only get 3% interest rate. So we have to know all that information. Alabama, bid down interest rate. That's how the state works. They used to do it before different. Used to do a bid up premium, but it's very less and less counties are really doing that. More and more counties are really just doing the bid down interest rate more. Most of them are online. So you got a good opportunity. You can win online. But it's 3 years. That's the tough part. You got to have the money there for 3 years in the state of Alabama. 3 years, you got to have it. So if you got some questions, put in chat. We'll be talking for another 5 or 10 minutes because we're here on YouTube. So welcome to everybody here on YouTube, on live right now. And we're here live, give you some questions. So we kind of bounced over, went over to TikTok for a little while. Now we bounced over here on YouTube. Give you some education here. And this will be recorded, of course, which that's a good advantage you have right here on YouTube. You can watch it later on if you want to. So we got to know all these rules. And as we start knowing some of the fundamentals, we want to say, okay, how do we learn the more detailed information, the more specific information, okay, about what? Alabama. How do we learn more information about Alabama? We've got to start reading. We've got to start learning. And you got to start making phone calls. I was here in California. We're going to come back to California, and I had to make some phone calls. I started reading some information on their websites and kind of things I had to call. And of course, you ask one person, they don't know what they're talking about. They give you the wrong information until you find the right person. Then I said, oh, okay, now it makes sense. Okay, now I understand it. You got to do the same thing in any state you do. So if you do Alabama, okay, whatever state you want, make some phone calls, ask some questions at the tax sale. You know, probably if you have it online, you should be able to print out a lot of documents right online through the website that the county will do. A lot of them are on Alabama. They use GovSE, auction.com. A lot of them do, okay? So you go over there, create an account for free. Then once you create the account for free, then you can register for the auction. Register is going to ask you, they're going to do much more. You're probably going to ask you a copy of driver's license. Some of them even want you a copy of a bank statement, your name. You can fill out your social security number, or if it's under a company or whatever you're going to do, okay? And you guys start knowing the rules of the guidelines. How are the auctions held? Yeah, we all know they're held online, okay, but how are the properties held? Do they sell the properties all at one time? Or do they sell them individually? How much time do they put that they allow for the bidding to go on individually? A lot of people don't even know that. How are we going to be successful if we don't know those rules, right? And people say, well, you know, it doesn't work because, you know, I got overbid by the hedge funds. I got bid. Well, then learn what they're not bidding on, or bid better than them, or go to counties that they don't go to, or know more detailed information that they don't know. I'll tell you that. I knew that here in California. Hey, Elizabeth, good morning. Good morning, Elizabeth. You're over my YouTube right now, huh? Welcome. Okay. All right. So, The key here is, guys, we got to know the states, the counties, how it works. And if we want to do a certain state, like, okay, I'm coming back here to do some stuff here in California, I'm not going to really buy it so much at the auction. I'll buy it before the auction. So I wanted to learn the details of how do I do it? How do I get the list? How do I do the research? How do I get the addresses? How do I get the APN numbers? How do I get the opening bids? How do I do all that stuff, okay, for properties before the auction? How can I do that at least 6 months or 12 months before, so I can kind of market to those people? How do I do that? Well, I had to do a lot of reading. A lot of reading on the internet, and they still didn't give me that at all. It didn't. I had to go start reading the statute, and they gave me some information. Then I went onto the website. I started reading the website. I said, what does that word mean? And then I called the treasurer. I said, what does this mean by this? They said, oh, that's me. I said, oh, okay, thank you very much. So I'm only on for like 5 seconds so I don't piss them off, okay? So then I got that. I said, okay, that's what that means. I wrote it down, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw another word. I call it a different county. I called it a different county this time. And I asked a different question. What does this mean? They said to me, oh, well, thank you very much. And now I said, oh, okay, now I understand. Now I understand the flow. I understand the flow. I said, okay, now I'm going to call another county. I said, how do I get the list? How do I get, now I say the exact words. I say, I need this, blah, 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 blah. And they said, oh yeah, we're going to post it on XYZ. Oh, thank you very much. And then I call another county with the same wording and ask the same question. The key is the wording. Know the wording. If you know the wording and you talk to the right person, they know what you're talking about. You talk to the wrong person, they'll give you wrong information. I've had that. It's the same thing with every state you do. So Elizabeth's here, she's in Indiana. That's the key. Know the wording. Know the document, the wording of the document, the wording of the words to ask. So then when you call them on the phone or you do a public records request, you know the exact wording to put down, the date, time, all that stuff. And so they say, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, it's public record. We don't really get that a lot, but it is public record, so we do have to release it to you. But you got to pay the cost for maybe the printing or maybe the emailing or something like that. Very cost. But hey, what are you doing? You're beating Wall Street. That's what you're doing. Okay? There's no reason. I mean, you can go to the auction, which is kind of fun. We went to the auction, me and Elizabeth, and went to the auction. It was kind of fun and everything. But you can buy a couple properties there. They're going to bid it up a little bit. But maybe you can try to do it after the auction. It's going to be a little bit tougher because you're going to have to go to the owners, or you have to buy the assignments, buy it directly from the other investors. That's another avenue to do. Okay? Most people don't know how to do this crap. I started thinking, I said, man, do I really have to sink my money in there for all that time? I started thinking about more and more, and if I do, I want my 16% interest rate. Or I really want this good interest rate on this situation. Or I really want to get the property. So that's the thing here that I'm realizing more and more, okay, is realistically, what do you want to do? You want to say, okay, how do I make sure I get my 16% interest rate or close to that if I'm going to put my money there for 3 years? That's number one. Then you got to know the fees. It pisses me off. I'll tell you something really makes me frustrated is like when I do my Arizona tax sale, you got to pay a $10 fee automatically. And I think you also have to pay a $10 fee on the auction site. So I think they jack up your fee $10. I'm not sure if that's reimbursed or not. See, that's the thing. I should be knowing the more detailed information. Even though it's $10, it's $10. But you start doing 100 of those, that adds up, right? I should know. I said, okay, if I pay this fee plus the $10, is that reimbursed or not? if the person pays me back. I know there's one in $10 in Arizona, it is not. So even though I'm buying, $100 liens and I'm getting 16% interest and they redeem in 2-3 months, I've actually lost money. Not a lot, like $4 or $5, but still with inflation too, I actually lost money, even with 16% interest. But again, I bought in lien lot, So one of them I did in green, in one of the smaller counties there, Greenlee, and I bought like 20, pretty much, not a lot, but already like 4 or 5 of them are already redeemed. 4 or 5 of them are already redeemed. I said, all right, no problem. 4 or 5 are already redeemed. I still got another 10 or 15 that have not. We have to know this. So when we do Alabama, remember what? Tax lien auction, bid down interest rate, most of them online, a lot of them at govseauction.com, and you got to ask them, find out, are there expenses, fees that you have to pay now that you will not get later if the person pays you back? Are there any those administration fee, junk fees I call them, or the website's going to charge you fees? Is that reimbursed or not? A lot of things people don't know. That's why we have to get the education. We got to get the knowledge as much as possible. Okay? And people don't. We have to know exactly what to do. So as I'm start doing my tax sales more and actually start doing this research more and realize this more, I said, okay, what do I do? Because remember, if you buy them for 2-3 years, you got to pay each supplemental year taxes. You're not getting no money back on that. Okay? Indiana's different. Indiana's only 1 year, but still 1 year is 1 year. Commission of sale is 6 months, but you got to go through the right properties. It's 120 days. You got to find the right property. So commission of sale is good. You just got to find the right properties. Problem pisses me off is you have some of these properties might start $500 and these jerks will jack up the property because they have, they just have unlimited money. Because they pool their money together with other investors. They pay their investors peanut money. And they just do this. Okay? So you guys have to get knowledge. We have to get knowledge, education. Decide where. If we're going to do a state, master that state and say, I'm going to be the best tax lien hold certificate investor in my state. I'm going to know the rules. I'm going to know the detailed information. I'm going to know the specifics. I'm going to know everything that when people have questions, yeah, you have a question about Indiana? Okay, ask me. Tell me. And you know it like this. That's what you want to be known as. That's why I've been studying a lot. I've been studying a lot here in California, learning more and more. And I want to do some more counties. My goal is to get 15 or 20 counties, get the list, start sending out postcards or letters, because I know they're going to lose their house. Someone's going to contact me, do you know what I mean? But I put different type of wording. There's certain things, certain wordings. Same thing we have to do, whatever state you want to do. Okay? And this is the key. Judges are not they don't want to take people's houses, I'll tell you that. So, and every court's different. Arizona's a pain in the ass, basically. You do your process, you have paperwork and everything, and, you have your notice sent out, which is 45 days. Then after you got to order the title search, and then you got to order the title search, you got to order you got to do the proof of service with everybody. File the lawsuit, then do the proof of service with everybody. Then you got to serve them. Then you got to wait, see if they pay the taxes or not. Then if they don't, you get a default judgment. Doesn't matter, default judgment doesn't mean nothing. They still can pay the property taxes. Then you get the default judgment. Then they still can pay the property taxes until the judge gives you the order. So, you know, Indiana's like the same thing. So you're gonna wait 6 months after the auction's over with for the judge to sign off on it. That's the only threshold. It's not 1 year. It's actually 1 year and 6 months. 1 year and 6 months, and they can pay all the way up to the court, up to the judge signing off, all the way up to that. Yeah. But, you know, 1 year is shorter than what? 3 years. And then the other one, which is 120 days, is shorter too. That's why that's why, you know, you see a lot of these events that a lot of people are there, because they don't want to wait 1 year. Key is getting the knowledge, knowing what's going on. All right, so that's it for today for YouTube. We welcome everybody. We thank everybody for watching and everything. We're kind of new on the live on YouTube. We haven't been doing it as long, so we're gonna keep doing some more YouTubes every day, as well as the TikToks every day. So we thank everybody for joining us, and that's it for today. Thanks, guys.